Dr. Jupet has been in India for 5 years, leading Volvo product development, and he is enormous understanding of the public transportation systems and electromobility. Charting the roadmap for Vision India is the presentation he will be going through with. So over to you, Dr. Jupet.
Thank you very much, and it's a great pleasure to be here. It's a privilege to be present today in this prestigious event and to share our roadmap or our vision to electromobility. Just a word about Volvo Group. We are basically among the world leaders in transport solution. We are present on the road with trucks, of course, but with our long-distance buses or coaches. We are present outside of the road, off-road, with our construction equipment, at sea, with engines, both diesel and petrol for boats. And we are present in the city, and that's very much, I think, what we will discuss here today with our city buses. So, as of today, we are one of the global leaders in electromobility with more than 7 electrified products all across the world, across different brands and different continents. The offer is actually based on 3 cornerstones, or our strategy, I would say, is based on 3 cornerstones. Of course, it's about the product, and you will see that a little bit further in the next slide. But it's not only about the product, and I would say when we move from traditional diesel transport to electrified solutions, it's much more than the vehicle itself. So it's the whole infrastructure. Of course, it's about charging. It's about the management of the batteries during the life, but as well at the end of the life of the product. And our vision is that we want the customers to not to see all those obstacles or all those difficulties. So that's why we are very much promoting services around the product. And we believe that the model for electric buses is around the cost per kilometer rather than selling a bus as we have been doing now for many years. Another important cornerstone is actually the open interface. And this is very important if we want the city to be able to, we are aware that this represents an important investment, especially in the charging station for the city. And we don't want them to invest only for our products and duplicate those investments for other mode of transport. So we are the promoter of an open interface called UpCharge. And this is something that we have in common with our 2 global partners, Siemens and ABB. And lately we have seen many bus manufacturers joining this association. I was talking, of course, I said it's not only about the product, but it's a little bit about the product anyway. And this is, of course, traditionally where we come from. So our product portfolio is based on 3 different products or 3 technology. The first one is the hybrid bus that was launched already back in 2012 for us. This is the first step, offering 30 to 40% fuel reduction over a similar diesel bus. It is starting in electric mode, around 12 to up to 12 to 15 kilometers an hour. So we have a silent takeoff from the bus stop, and with this we have around 40% reduction in emission. The second step is the electric hybrid, as we like to call it, even though it's more known as plug-in. But our product is actually much more running on electric than diesel, so that's why we like to call it electric hybrid. This one was launched last year in 2015, and we already have 15 buses on the road as of date. It offers 75% of fuel reduction and 60% in energy reduction when you include the electric energy. we are able to drive electrically during 70% of the route, and then the remaining part is done with the engine on. It's very much silent as well, offering 75% reduction in CO2. And for that kind of product, we have charging at the end stations, at the terminals, and the charging time is between 3 to 6 minutes. Then the third step, and the one we launched very recently, that is going into production very soon now, is the complete electric bus. Here we are talking about 80% energy reduction. We are talking about electric drive all the time, so totally silent and basically zero emission. And the same technology for charging is used with the same charging time, 3 to 6 minutes. We actually see that different cities have different needs, and I would say that even one city or one big city, like many we are working with, they have different needs. So we don't see that one of these technology eventually will prevail. We think that all those technologies are complementing each other. So the full electric is very much the product for downtown when you are looking for full zero emission solution. The electric hybrid or plug-in is a good solution when you have a slightly longer route, for example, to connect with the suburb. The hybrid solution, for which you don't have any external charging, is the ideal product for, again, slightly longer route, for example, some commuting transport solutions. And we should not forget, of course, the diesel. The diesel will remain, especially for the long distance. And with the latest regulations like Euro 6, those products are actually much cleaner than in the past, as you know. The approach when you meet with customers, when you meet with cities to talk about electrified products, the approach is really different than what we have been doing in the past. I would say it's much more similar to another business we have, which is BRT. This has been mentioned in some of the presentation. This is not just to sell a product. Once again, you have multiple stakeholders. You have to interact with all of them. In some extent, you have to coordinate them as well. So it's about project sales, project management, and this coordination of all the stakeholders. What we see is that this new technology is actually changing the landscape for public transport. And it's really creating new opportunities and exciting ones in the field of urban mobility. For example, I will talk just after about a line we have started in Gothenburg, Sweden. And those two pictures are taken out of this line. With clean buses and with silent buses, you can actually reach to places where we were not allowed to go initially. So the first picture is about an indoor bus stop, which is making the waiting time much more convenient for the passengers, especially in Scandinavia, where it is cold and very rainy. I mean, waiting for the bus in an indoor location is very appreciated. But knowing a little bit India, I think waiting the bus in a place that could be air conditioned could be as well a good thing for you. We have actually realized that the noise, and I would say we didn't really anticipate that from the beginning. We talk a lot about air pollution, and that's of course one of the main drivers. But the noise is today responsible for a lot of disease, for a lot of stress in the big city, and more cities are not only looking at the air quality, but are very, very interested about the noise reduction with that kind of product. Yes, so this is the line I was actually talking about. It is known as Line 55, started last year in June in Gothenburg, and this is very much of a research platform together with 15 partners. So when I was talking about multiple stakeholders, you of course have the grid company, you have the operators, you have in that case the university as well associated. So this is really a consortium approach. This line is 8 kilometers long. It's about 25-minute drive with an average speed of 18 km/h, and we have fast charging again at both ends. This is done through fast charging with 300 kilowatt charging station. We have 100,000 passenger per month on that line. We are running 10 buses, 7 are plug-in electric and 3 are full electric buses. It's not only about the buses again. Here we have taken the opportunity to build new bus stops which are much more passenger friendly, including the indoor bus stop that I showed previously. So all this is monitored real time through a monitoring station, especially for the condition of the bus and the battery, state of charge, for example. And we have had a very, very good feedback from the passengers, from the drivers, and I would say from the people living along this line. Very, very good feedback about the performance and again about the noise. We have as well taken the opportunity to associate new services like ITS, of course USB ports, which are very appreciated. When I talk to my kids, that's actually what they like the most in this bus, is that they can charge their smartphone. Talking a little bit about India, in India, Volvo has been present for more than 15 years, and we have very much opened a new segment, which is known as the luxury transport. We have been doing that in many cities successfully, but we believe the next step is coming now, and the next step we believe will be, especially for the city transport, will be electric. So in that respect, we are quite proud to have started back in May this year operations in Navi Mumbai with 2 buses, 2 hybrid buses. This is still seen as a pilot for us. They've been running in normal traffic, and we have seen consistently 30% fuel reduction, which is really according to the target, and which is really good for an area where we have a high usage of air conditioning. So no incremental investment. Again, this is the hybrid, so no external charging. This is very much running as a normal bus. So that was the presentation about the roadmap that we foresee globally, of course, but for India. So thank you very much for your attention, and I will be happy to answer any questions.